Welcome back to another FPL video. I really enjoyed the Euros, but once they started releasing FPL prices, I realized how much I missed the game. We had 2 days of price releases, and it's too early to render a verdict before all the prices are released, but these are my immediate thoughts. One of the most discussed prices so far, Haaland, he comes in at 15. It's a new record for FPL, the old record of 14 million held by the likes of Henry and Van Persie. It's broken by the Norwegian striker. Actually, I do like this price. Last season, Haaland was in over 90% of the teams in game week 1, and hopefully a price tag of 15 million can make us avoid that. However, another important point is that if we have 14 other really low priced good assets, then we'll probably see 14 players plus Haaland. So hopefully FPL will get this right and also increase the price of other popular players. The prices of historically well-owned assets such as Saka, KDB, Trent, Robbo, and Arsenal defense, if they are too cheap, then probably most people will own them. So I really do believe and hope that FPL will increase their prices so that us managers will have to make some choices. Back to Haaland, is he worth his price tag of 15 million? It's really hard to tell. Last season he was not even worth his price tag of 14 million, but if you take a look at the fixtures, they have a pretty tough fixture at Stamford Bridge in game week 1 against Chelsea. But in game week 2 they have a really good fixture when they play against Ipswich at the Etihad. So he will probably be captained by a lot of managers in game week 2, and if he does well, you could see your rank really plummet. So it will be a really tough decision to go with or without Haaland, but as mentioned earlier in the intro, it's really hard to tell before we know the prices of all the players. Haaland, in one of his bad seasons, he actually managed to be top goal scorer. He had 27 goals and an expected goal of 29, so we actually underperformed his XG. When it comes to assists, he had 8 assists, but really overperformed because his expected assist was only 2.22. But one special stat, and that's why I put it in asterisks, Haaland was the only player last season that actually had over 100 attempts in the box. So you know what you'll get with Haaland. He will not contribute as much as other attacking players, but he will get chances and he will probably score around 25 to 30 plus goals again. Is it worth 50 million? Let's wait and see. Another player that definitely deserves a mention is Cole Palmer. He has actually set a new record himself by being the player with the highest price increase between 2 seasons. Last season he came in at 5.0, but this season he comes in at 10.5, so it's a 5.5 million price increase. Of course, this was due to him starting last season as a Man City player with no expectation of minutes, but when he moved to Chelsea he really did well. When we take a look at his stats, he scored 22 goals and had 13 assists. Really good numbers from Cole Palmer. But when we look deep into the expected stat, we can see that Cole Palmer actually overperformed both expected goals and expected assists last season. When it comes to expected goals, he had 18.21, and for expected assists he actually only had 8.75. And we also know that he had a lot of penalties last season. So will Cole Palmer be worth 10.5 this season? Let me know in the comments down below what you think about Cole Palmer's price. We also got the price for another former fantasy favorite, Bruno Fernandes, comes in at 8.5, and he is of course classified as a midfielder and plays for Man United. When we take a look at Man United fixtures, they are really good in the opening. In the first game week they play against Fulham, and they have Brighton away in game week 2, while they have Liverpool at Old Trafford in game week 3, and hopefully it will be a lot of goals in that game. My first impression when it comes to Bruno Fernandes is that this is a really good deal. 8.5. He is one of the players in the league with the highest expected minutes, which is a really important stat as well. He is on set pieces, he is on penalties. When we take a look at the numbers from last season, he scored 10 goals and 8 assists. And he actually was one of the players who underperformed his expected goal involvement the most. So for expected goals and expected assists, he both got over 10. Another stat about Bruno Fernandes that I put down in asterisks is that he created 114 chances, which is the most in the league last season. So if United can find form and Haaland up top will start to be a little bit more prolific, then maybe Bruno can have a really good fantasy season. A couple of players that deserves a mention as well, and they will probably be in a lot of teams come game week 1. Nkunku from Chelsea, he has been reclassified from an attacker to a midfielder, and he has also had his price decreased by 1 million, so he sets us back 6.5. And if he can stay fit, he will probably be a really good asset. Is he maybe too cheap this season, considering that he is also reclassified from a striker to a midfielder? My first impression is yes, I actually do believe that he is a little bit too cheap. So hopefully he can stay fit and do really well, but I also hope that he will not be one of those players with 80-90% ownership. But let's wait and see when all the prices are released. Salah, the Egyptian king, he comes in at the same price as last season, 12.5. He is one of the most consistent fantasy options for the last 7 years, and he is also known as one of the greatest fantasy assets of all time. He is now priced at 12.5, and when we consider that Haaland is priced at 15, it actually makes me feel that Salah maybe is underpriced by 0.5 or 1 million or something like that. We know he will play most games if he can stay fit. We know that he is on penalties for an attacking side. Right now, if I could choose one of the ultimate premiums, if you can call Salah and Haaland that, I will probably go for Salah. So this is a list of players that at first sight seems like bargains or maybe a bit overpriced. Of course, as mentioned a couple of times earlier in this video, this can change rapidly when we get all the other player prices. But at first sight, Bruno, as mentioned, he looks like a really good deal at 8.5, nailed on for Man United and on penalties and set pieces. Esse as well at 7.0. He has the same role for Crystal Palace that Bruno has for Man United. And Nkunku, also mentioned earlier, he is reclassified from an attacker to midfielder and has also seen his price go down from 7.5 to 6.5. Cunha from Wolves, 6.5. He is also nailed on in that team and will be on penalties. James, we know about his history when it comes to injuries and that he's really injury prone, but if he can stay fit during preseason, get enough minutes under his belt, he will probably be a good asset. Guehi, the England star, he comes in at 4.5. He was a good asset last season as well, and he will probably be one of the most owned 4.5 defenders along with Konsa from Aston Villa. To round up the bargain list, I've added a couple of goalkeepers. Flecken at 4.5. He is nailed on and will start. He was one of the best goalkeepers last season, and the same goes for Areola. At West Ham last season, he came in at 4.0 and had his price increased from 4.0 to 4.5, but I still think that he is well priced compared to others. When we take a look at the other side of the list, Pickford and Leno at 5.0, I don't really see them being selected by that many when we can get Flecken and Areola at 0.5 less. If we stay on the right hand side but move to the top of the list, we find Ollie Watkins. He's priced at 9.0. At first sight, I do believe that looks a bit expensive. We know that he is not on penalties. He had a really good season last year, but I'm not sure he can replicate it. I'm sure he will get close to 15 to 20 goals, but will Aston Villa have the same start this season as they had last year? I'm not questioning Watkins as a player. We all saw him play last season, but will he be worth a price tag of 9.0? Let's wait and see. The next players on the list: Bowen, Mateta, Jackson, Sterling. Same goes for them. I do believe that they are priced maybe 0.5 or 1 million too high. They are not on penalties for their team like we see on the other side of the list in SA, Cunha, Fernandes. So I do believe that those players maybe are a bit overpriced. Same goes for defender Madsen at 5.0. Can't see many picking him when you can have Guehi and Kansa at 0.5 cheaper. And as mentioned, the goalkeepers, same goes for them. Leno and Pickford at 5.0 will probably not be that popular when you have decent 4.5 options available. That's it for the first reaction after the 2 first days of price releases. Please let me know in the comments down below. Do you agree or do you disagree? I know a lot of managers probably will disagree in a lot of things I've said in this video, so let me know in the comments down below and let us discuss the new FPL player prices for the new season. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want more FPL content, and I'd really appreciate it if you like this video. Thanks for watching.